Hi everyone, myself Harsha. I am Pega trainer at Harsha Trainings and we are in process of making a series of videos about software field. So we are discussing about some of the technical terms that we use in the software field. So before this video, I have explained about almost like 5 technical terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 about client and different roles in the project, onshore offshore model, offshore team, onshore team. Up to these 5 topics I have explained in the last video. And if you are a new user to this channel, please subscribe to our channel, and before you watch this video, and as this video is a continuation of the previous video, there are 2 other videos previously we have made. Please watch those videos. The links of those videos have been given in the description of this video and you can watch those and come back to here. And knowing about these technical terms is going to really help anyone to understand what is the process that is being followed in the software development, enterprise application development. And now let's go ahead, and today we are going to discuss about the rest 5 technical terms: business analyst, agile scrum methodology, Jira tool, user stories, and the 10th one is efforts or estimation in time duration. So these are the 5 technical terms that I am going to explain you today, and we are going to look at all of these things just in a brief to give you a brief idea about what are these all about. Now let's get on to the topic. So let me explain you about business analyst. So I have already explained about business analyst in the last video also. Let me explain today also about business analyst because this is related to Jira tool, user stories, story points and all. And now the role of a business analyst. Business analyst is a person. See, we are developers and developer will be working on business requirements in order to complete the tasks that are being assigned by the business, and there will be actual business. See, the actual business owner, we also call the business owner as product owner. So they are going to have all the business needs with them. These business needs have to be actually assigned to the developer and developer have to work on it. But what happens is, anytime the real business owners are not going to directly assign the business requirements to the developers. Then how the business requirements will come to the developer? There will be an intermediate person. So there will be an intermediate person called business analyst. The intermediate person is called, in short we call it as BA, and this is developer and this is product owner or business owner. See, the business requirements will be given by the product owner to the business analyst. Business analyst, product owner is going to say, this is the requirement, this is the requirement, this is the requirement that we want during the next phase of development. Then business analyst is going to draft all those requirements. All the requirements will be drafted by the business analyst and business analyst is going to assign it to the developers. In the last video I have clearly explained how this will be moved from business analyst to developer. Again, it will be given to team leads will hand over it to developer. Anyhow, ultimately requirements will come to developer from business analyst and business analyst will be getting the requirements from the business owner. So this is the role of the business owner. So if you are going to say that how you are going to get the business requirement, you need to always talk about business analyst in your project is going to draft the business requirements and going to assign you the business requirements. That's what you have to say. And now coming to the next technical term, Agile Scrum methodologies. So what is Agile and what is Scrum methodology? So let me explain you about this one. See, to tell you in brief, okay, Agile is a set of principles under which your project will be constructed. Okay, so what about these principles? What does these principles are going to say? These principles say that this is how the business requirement construction should be and this is how the team structure should be. So whenever we are working on business requirements, there will be certain teams. Like it is not only one person will be working on a project, there will be some n number of people, one or more teams will be there. And now what should be the team structure? What should be the time frame that should be followed? And like this, Agile methodology is going to talk about the organizational structure of overall project, how it has to be driven. That will be talked about by Agile principles. And now following the Agile principles, the implementation of Agile principles is Scrum methodology. Whatever that is being told, how organizingly the things have to be executed will be decided in the Agile methodology. That execution will be taken care by Scrum methodology. So Scrum methodology is implementation of Agile methodology. So in the Scrum methodology, there are different things that we should be aware of. So whenever the project is going to be built based on Scrum methodology, then the project structure will be like this. See, the project is going to have like different sprints. What do you call this? Sprints. Let me clear out all these ones. Okay, so in the Scrum methodology, the project, let's say for example, your project is 1 year term. Okay, 1 year, your entire project is going to be developed. See, for entire 1 year, no one is going to do the development from beginning to ending, and at the last of 1 year, they are not going to say the project is completed. See, this 1 year will be divided usually into different iterations. Let's not talk about iterations much here. Let's talk about a technical term called sprint. So they are going to divide it into sprints. So in the Agile methodology, the project requirements that are going to be drafted will be given to you in a sprint model. So there will be something called sprint. A sprint is of 15 days. Usually, it is not mandatory that a sprint should be 15 days, but 99% of the projects. So whenever you are going to work on any business requirements, you will be working on business requirements in sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3. That means if you have 12 months a project, then 12 into 2, 24. So 24 sprints will be there in your 1 year term. So all the business requirements that are going to be assigned to you, how many times it will be assigned? Like different requirements, 24 times. Now business analyst is going to draft the business requirements for sprint 1. During sprint 1, they are going to draft the business requirements. These requirements will be assigned to the developers. Developers will work on development, and then they do unit testing and QA testing, everything will be done. And sprint 1 completed, 15 days done. Now 16th day to 30th day, that is called as sprint 2. The next business requirements will be drafted by the business analyst in sprint 2. Like this sprint 3, sprint 4, like this, we have 24 sprints, for example, in a year. Okay, but it is not mandatory sprint should be 15 days. Sprint can be even 3 weeks also in some projects. It depends on the project structure. So like this, in a Scrum methodology talks about how the project should be organized for its development to have different phases. Each sprint you can consider as phase 1, phase 2 of development, and phase 3 of development, where sprint 3, like this, total 24 phases are there in a year to have 24 sprints. In each sprint, your development requirements you will be getting from the business analyst. So like this, in a Scrum methodology, you are going to have sprint. A sprint is of 15 days. So let me brief out. Agile is going to be, Agile is like a set of principles of organizing the things in the project. And based on these principles, Scrum methodology is implementation of Agile principles, where in the Scrum methodology, your business requirements overall, whatever that you have for 1 year, so overall 1 year development will be considered to be divided as different phases. In general, we call it as phase, but here technically we call that phase as sprint. A sprint is of 15 days usually, that is 2 weeks time. Okay, so everyone, I hope you are clear about what is business analyst going to do, and what is Agile principle, and what is Scrum methodology. So in detail, I will explain you about, see here at the bottom, you have sprint planning sessions, backlog, sprint demos, Scrum Master related. All this I will tell you in future once again. But as of now here, I am going to give you a brief idea of what is Agile, Scrum methodology and all. And now coming to business analyst is going to draft the business requirements, right? So where are they going to draft it? See, so let's say for example, in our team we have 4 resources. So there are 4 resources in the team. So when we have 4 resources in a team, all 4 resources have to be assigned with business requirements. See, when business analyst is going to draft the business requirements and assign the business requirements to all 4 developers, which requirements are related to which developers, who is working on which requirement, what is the progress of the requirements, what is the development that they have done, all these have to be managed. So the business requirements will be drafted and managed. So what is that managed? I will tell you going forward by or within a tool, by using a tool called Jira tool. Mostly it is not mandatory that every project should have Jira tool. We even have GitHub and we have so many other tools. Okay, like Jira, there are so many other tools, but most widely being used tools are Jira and GitHub. Maybe even some other tools also available. See, Jira tool is being used in order to draft the business requirements, and there are certain features available in the Jira tool which is going to make the tracking of the business requirements, storing of the business requirements, drafting, storing, tracking, everything will be easy when you are going to use Jira tool. So let me take you to another document where I have some of the screenshots about Jira tool, how it looks like. See here. See, business analyst is the one who is going to draft the business requirements, right? See, just to give you an idea in between, okay, see here, business requirements can be high level business requirements document will be there, and business requirements of low level will be there. Means high level means it is just an outline of the requirement, low level means it is in detail description about the business requirements. And in the business requirements document, you have functional specification documents, means which talks about the application functionality, and technical specification documents which are going to talk about the technical details. What are the technical aspects, means technology related, what should be done, what should be used in order to implement the functionalities. So technical specification document helps the developer to easily identify and understand what technical aspects to be used out of the technology in order to implement the functionalities. So that will be talked about by technical specification document. We don't need this in detail as of now, so leave it. Now let's go on to Jira tool. This is how a Jira tool looks like. You can see here. See, whenever you are accessing a Jira tool, then in the using a Jira tool, business analyst, usually business analyst will be accessing this, but it is not mandatory that business analyst have to access it. But in most of the cases, business analyst will be accessing Jira tool in order to draft the requirement details. Requirements can be different type, like related to UI, functional requirements, non-functional requirements, business requirements. Like this, there are different types. These categories will be clearly known to the business analyst. They are going to choose one of the category, and then they are going to draft the business requirements in this particular Jira tool, where the requirements may look like this. This is just an example. Okay, so they have drafted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 requirements. Let's say each requirement here is being available. See, for each requirement that is being drafted, there will be summary details and there will be assignee. What is the meaning of assignee? Let me tell you. So as I told you, let's say for example, you are 5 members in a team. Then the requirement, first requirement, whatever that is being drafted here by the business analyst, it might have been assigned here to, not might have been, it is been assigned here to Mark. So Mark is the person who has to work on this particular business requirement. Here the one you see key, right? So this is going to talk about the requirement ID. When you define the requirements, how do you identify the requirements, what is being assigned to Mark in the past? So you can identify that by using this particular key. Means for everything there should be a key in order to identify it. It is like an ID. Okay, and there is another business requirement which has been assigned to Brett, and one more business requirement that has been assigned to Brona. And there are 2 other business requirements which are being drafted, but not yet been decided to whom it has to be assigned. So the status of this one, for the assignee column, it shows like, I'm sorry, it is not status. In the assignee column, it is showing that unassigned. Unassigned means these are being drafted, but these are not being assigned to anyone. So here business requirements will be drafted by business analyst. Each requirement will have a requirement ID in the Jira tool and summary details about the requirement, and assignee to whom it has been assigned. This is the person who has to work on the business requirement, this particular requirement. And there will be status. Status is very, very important here. See here, status waiting for approval means this developer is waiting for the approval from reporter. He is the reporting person. Once he approves, then these requirements can be taken and worked on by the assignee. And to do means he is doing it. There are some cases, this is open, you can see here, this is open, but it is not assigned, so no one will be working. In some cases, the status can be WIP, meaning that work in progress, means Brona is presently working on this business requirements, that implementation is in progress. So when it is being created, the date also you can see here, the date when these business requirements are being drafted. So in future, if we are going to take a report out of what are the requirements that are being done and who was the assignee and what was the status and what is the summary details about this and what is the idea of the requirement, all that is available here clearly. Okay, so this is how whenever you go to Jira tool and when the business requirements are being drafted by the business analyst, you can have a clear idea about what business requirements are being drafted, to whom it has been assigned, what is the present status of these business requirements, everything will be known to you. So this is just a brief idea. Okay, I hope every one of you clear so far. So now let's move on to with an idea for a business requirement with an idea of RQ01. Let's say that is the ID. Okay, so there are functional requirements here. You can see here there are functional requirements and he is the reporting one, created, last updated, I told you, right, assignee, and like this. I'll talk about the status. Backlog is something different that will be covered in future. Imagine this is the requirement that has been assigned. Okay, whereas see here the requirement details will be available here. Okay, and there will be certain attachments. See, what are the attachments? Usually in case whenever the business requirements are being drafted, see, this particular tool can be used in order to manage the business requirements mainly. See, drafting, if you have so much lengthy business requirements, then it will be highly difficult to write everything in here. See, there is a possibility that you can write the business requirements in the description. That is possible. But if you want to write the detailed description about the requirements here in the description field provided in the Jira tool, it will be little difficult. I mean, even for the developers also, it will be difficult to manage. So that's the reason why usually the requirement specifically will be drafted in an Excel document or in a Word document. Mostly 99% of the cases in an Excel document, and the Excel document will be attached here. It is not only the requirements that will be drafted in Excel document gets attached here, but also any other useful screenshots or any other information related to how to implement the requirements or where to implement, what are the functional screenshot, that type of documents also a business analyst can upload here, which is going to give little more better information to the developer to understand where are the business changes that have to be made, or at which screen or at which point in time during the transaction we have to add the new changes or modify the existing changes. Like this will be known to the developers by providing the additional documentation apart from the requirements document. So usually a requirement document which is of an Excel format will be uploaded here. Every developer will be given access to this Jira tool. Now when a developer is going to log into Jira tool, he will go to let me take you back here. He will go to this particular tool. Here there is a search facility. I am not sure here the search facility. If he is going to search assignee by his name, definitely the requirements on his name will be getting loaded here. He can open each requirement and he can download the document of requirements that is been added or attached in this particular one, and he can work on it. And now coming to here, see, this is how a requirement document may look like. Okay, it is not the exact actual one, but this is how somewhat it may look like. See here, usually the requirements that are going to be drafted in a sprint model in Scrum methodology are called as user stories. We call those as user stories. So what is a user story means? A user story is the set of requirements that are going to be drafted for a specific functionality and that get assigned to a developer. So set of requirements will be drafted and those requirements will be assigned to a developer, and developer will be working on those requirements. All these requirements, whatever that we are going to assign to a developer, are called as user stories. And in the user story, you have something called story points. What do you have? Story points. See here, user story, story point 1 and moreover story point 2. Like this you can have a number of story points, story point 3, story point 4, story point 5. All the story points are part of user stories. User stories will be part of sprint. Okay, so let me go ahead and tell you here. See here, in a sprint, the sprint is, let's say 15 days. 15 days. Okay, in a sprint, business analyst is going to draft business requirements and assign it to developer. These business requirements which are being assigned to developer, and these business requirements we will call it as user story. We will call it as user story. So these user stories are going to have story points like this. Okay, so in a sprint, business analyst is going to write the business requirements, and the business requirements will be assigned to developer, and developer is going to access these business requirements which we call as user story, and user story is going to have story points, story point 1, story point 1, story point 3. Like this there can be n number of story points that will be available in here in the user stories. Okay, like this. See, user story point 1. In story point 1, different tasks that have to be done. So this is a story point summary, and design the UI for product page. There is a page called product in Amazon. For that page we have to design user interface. Coding for product page. It is not only user interface you design, coding also have to be done for the product page, and automate the test case, and also you write the automated test cases in, that is also one of the story point here, and code review has to be done. So this is a detailed description about the user story points, user story point. When you implement this user story point, these are the tasks that have to be done. And who is the assignee? This has been assigned to developer 1, this has been assigned to developer 2, this has been assigned to developer 1, this has been assigned to developer 3. So now when the story points are being written here in the user story, story point 1, story point 2, like this, when these are being written, look at here, estimation. So this is what most important thing. See here, estimated efforts in hours. 20 hours are being given. 20 means 8 hours a day is a working time. Means almost 3 days time they have given. 6 hours meaning that 1 day time. 4 hours half day time. 6 hours 1 day time. Like this, estimation in hours will be given. See, actually who will be estimating this? I told you in the past video, right? There will be architect and team lead also. Architect, team lead usually will decide. After team lead decides, mostly team lead will decide and assign it to the developer. Some cases, team leads also discuss with developers whether this can be done in the estimated hours of time or not. In some cases. So who is going to give the estimation for the business requirements? Usually, it will be given by your tech leads. It may be sometimes given by team lead, and sometimes a developer also may involve in giving these efforts. And in this particular one, this is also been written as open. The status means for developer 1, it is ready to be taken. And work in progress means already developer 2 has taken this, he is working on it. Developer 3, this is done, means already developer 3 has finished this particular writing automated test cases. And developer 1 is working on this particular business requirement related to code review. This is work in progress. So like this there can be status given. This is how an Excel document of which contains user stories and story points will be uploaded, will get uploaded into Jira tool. Will get uploaded into Jira tool. Okay, so here in the business requirements place. So here in the business requirements, instead of writing, see, you have seen just now Excel document, right? It will be highly difficult to write all the requirements of user story points here in the description. That's why they write it in Excel and they upload here as an attachment along with the requirements document, user stories document attachment. They may also attach some other additional documents which helps better the developers to proceed with their development, to find the right place or appropriate place where they can implement the development or they can make the changes. So this is about the tool Jira at high level. I hope you all clear about it. If you have any questions related to the Jira tool further, you can post your questions in the comment section of this video. And between, if you are a new user to our channel, don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you so much. And here you go now for the next other document. Let's go back to the document. This one. See, I have explained about Jira tool. So far in this video, in this session, we have understood about who is business analyst and his role, Agile Scrum methodology, just a high to high level, and little bit of brief information about Jira tool. And also I have explained about user stories, story points, efforts or estimation and time duration. Let me tell you once again. See the story points, each story point in order to be completed, what is the time in hours that is going to be taken will be mentioned in technical terms as efforts or estimation, and this will be usually decided by the tech leads, or sometimes team lead also will decide it, and sometimes developers also they will discuss and they are going to cross check with the developers, can this be done in so and so hours that the team lead has, tech lead has given, and here and there this estimation can be little bit modified before start. But after starting, the estimation should never be modified. Remember, suppose I have taken this requirement, I started working on it, I wanted to change the estimation later. That is not the right approach. Business is not going to agree for that. So you have to decide on this estimation before you start this requirement and take it. And you have to discuss the same with the business analyst, convey the information why it is going to take more time than what is being given in the efforts of the user stories. And once they are convinced, if they give the approval to proceed forward, then you have to change the estimation hours and then you have to take and proceed forward. So these are the details that we have seen in today's video about business analyst, Agile Scrum methodology, Jira tool, user stories, story points, estimation efforts. And tomorrow, I mean like in the next video, we are going to understand the details about backlogs. This is also related to Jira tool and the business requirements, and time log. This is also related to Jira tool, and requirement walkthrough. This is related to again business analyst, sprints. This I have just given a glance today. I will tell you in detail tomorrow. Sprint planning sessions, sprint demo, and Scrum Master and Scrum meetings. All that will be covered in the tomorrow's, I mean like the next video. Okay, hope you enjoyed watching this video. Hope you have got some valuable information about the software industry and inside the project, whatever that we are going to develop. What are the technical terms that we come across and the meaning of each of this technical term. Let me try to give you the best going forward the same way what we have done today. And thank you so much for watching with this video. If you like the content, subscribe to the video, and and if you have any questions related to your career guidance or anything, you can post your questions or your doubts in the comment section of this video. And in between, we are Harsha Trainings, a leading software training academy located in Hyderabad. We provide classroom and online training across the globe. And if you are any one of your connections, if they are looking to learn any of the software courses, you can refer us. Our number is given in the description of this video and they can reach out to us. We provide training as well as 100% placement assistance, and when you call, we'll tell you more details about it. The training programs that are going to be conducted here are going to definitely deliver the best quality of technical and even the functional knowledge will be delivered to the candidates. Hope you enjoyed once again. Thank you so much for watching this video. Signing off, Harsha.